Hello everyone, welcome back to Trek A Day. Today we have another Deep Space Nine VHS tape. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, episode 116, Business as Usual. In this particular Paramount release line, unlike the much larger Columbia House releases, and it's been harder over the years to find slightly later episodes in this release line, and the Columbia House one as well, but yeah, anything after seasons like 1, 2, and 3, it's a little bit harder to stumble across. I was happy to find this just kind of sitting in a Goodwill. And the bargain bins for a couple of cents. Schmooze a little, earn a lot. Quark finds what he thinks is the ideal way to get rid of his debt. He enters the lucrative and dangerous field of arms merchandising, skirting the ban on bringing weapons aboard the station by showing holosuite replicas of them to prospective clients. But a crisis of conscience overwhelms the Ferengi when he realizes he's on the brink of a sale that endangers 28 million lives. Make that 28 million and one, because Quark, too, is endangered when he realizes he must somehow stop the transaction, even though doing so will put him at odds with his cutthroat business partners. This is a really good Quark-focused episode, and a Ferengi episode that doesn't rely on humor too heavily. I love a lot of the real funny Ferengi episodes, and a lot of times they do a good job of balancing the focus on humor with some sort of more serious messaging, or the underlying plot is a more serious situation, like the Magnificent Ferengi, very serious situation, but in a very kind of farcical, kind of fun sense. This one's a little more of a straight dramatic focus, with the main drive being a look at morality. Quark kind of struggling with that, and of course showing in the end how much of a good person he really is. And it's not to say it completely does away with any sense of fun, it definitely doesn't, but it is much more of a story-driven, dramatic Armin Shimmerman episode that does a great job of exploring its themes in a way that's interesting, and again, doing something that Deep Space Nine does well by examining a piece of society that we wouldn't necessarily think of too much in the context of something like TNG, looking kind of peeling back and seeing outside of the Federation, especially the realities of some things that would be going on in the larger universe. And even does a good job at playing around with themes from poems like First They Came, and ideas of, how much we care about the suffering of others can sometimes be dependent on how separate we feel from those people. As things get closer to home and we start to have more of a realization of what harm our actions are doing, that's when we kind of jump to the more morality bandwagon. And where is the cutoff really? How many does it take? Quark tries to rationalize the situation when he's like, I'm not really selling weapons, I am selling these holographic representations, and they're really only going to people that are using them for self-defense. And obviously it's not true. You really get a good look at him, just sort of the inner turmoil of facing his own situation and seeing a way out of the dismal financial situation that he's in, and being confronted with the reality of what damage his actions could be doing. So overall, a great episode of DS9.